I watched all of The Office Australia and it is nowhere near as bad as you think it is. Let's talk about it.
At least we've got each other and a fully stocked fridge.
What's up guys, Mike here, welcome back to my channel. Hit the subscribe button for more pop culture content. Now let's get into it. Okay, so as I said, I have watched the entirety of The Office Australia, which just came out on Amazon Prime last week, and I gotta say, I was pleasantly surprised by this show. I have a lot of thoughts that I want to go through on this, so hear me out, okay?
It is still frustrating. Ugh.
This show is actually really good. It's well written, the performances are great, and it's pretty funny at times as well. And I have already seen the kind of online slew of negativity around this show, and to be honest, I completely understand where a lot of that is coming from. That being said, I feel like there is a prevailing narrative around this show that will prevent it to be successful more so than the actual quality of the show.
Oh, I don't want to get into semantics, Mum.
Yeah, but
And I think the main problem is people want to hate this show. Like, a lot of people don't want this to be successful at all. And I'll put my hand up and say I was wrong. I was one of the main people calling from the start that this show would be really bad, almost unwatchable, and it is entirely unnecessary. Seriously, if you Google The Office Australia, my video comes up as one of the top results when you search it. But I am always happy to be proven wrong, and while I still think this show is unnecessary, I definitely think it is so much better than what everyone wants you to think. First and foremost, can we shout out Felicity Ward, who is absolutely carrying this show. That's not to say that the other actors aren't fantastic, but the same way that Steve Carell carries the US version, Felicity Ward just absolutely embodies the exact character needed to be the Australian Michael Scott.
I'm on the toilet. Yeah, that's very clever. There's not enough fibre in my diet.
She has completely embodied this character and it is really impressive. I absolutely love watching her in this role and I think she nails it so well.
You're in charge of making that 300K and I'm in charge of staff morale, sort of like good cop, bad cop.
Yeah. Which one am I?
Bad cop.
There are a couple other parallel characters using the US version for reference because I've never actually seen the UK version. I'm not 100% sure of all the names. I probably should have researched this before, but I'm pretty sure the Dwight parallel is called Lizzie.
Nick is a joke. He is a mess around clown.
Interestingly, she is the receptionist in this version.
Alicia just called to say that she's running 10 minutes late for your 10 a.m. meeting, which will now be at 10 past 10.
I think the actress here does a fantastic job. She really captures like the neuroticism and like oddness of a Dwight-like character without being like a carbon copy of Dwight, but having those same characteristics of sucking up to the boss and really wanting to bring down the Jim character as well. The Jim character is played by Steen Raskopoulos. I mean, the Jim character in the American version was always a very like subdued, everyman kind of relatable dude character, and I think Steen really nails that in this as well. I think a core part of The Office being the US version, UK version, or even the Australian version is that it is supposed to feel like a documentary. It isn't supposed to feel like you're watching actors. And I think that's really captured in this series. I think all of the actors do a really good job at making you feel like you're watching something real, not watching a scripted thing.
Tragedy plus time equals comedy.
Greta is the Pam character and I guess the love interest for Jim. And with them, I think we have our core four sort of characters in the show. But there is a vast kind of extended cast in The Office, the same way there is in the US version. And each of those characters kind of has an opportunity to shine throughout the series.
Man, my man, are you alright?
Hey.
It looks like you're trying to take a shit.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, there's something going on with our chairs.
Another highlight for me is definitely Zoe Tarakis, who is the warehouse manager. I think they do just a fantastic job. They are so real. honestly feels like, again, just a real person in a Office documentary, not a scripted show. And so when I talk about the narrative being against this show, I really mean it. I mean, I know myself that I thought this show was completely unnecessary. I didn't want it to go ahead, and I kind of went into it wanting to hate it. And I think a lot of Australians are going into it with that exact same feeling, which is why the prevailing narrative has been that it's negative, that it's a failure, and all of the above. If you actually take the time and watch this show, I think you'll actually quite appreciate it. There are some genuinely funny, laugh out loud moments, and I think it does capture the spirit of The Office.
No, God! No, God, please, no!
And as I said, whether it should exist or not is kind of leaning towards the no side for me, but that doesn't mean I think that it's bad. Whereas I think a lot of people are kind of watching the first episode going, that wasn't good at all, and it's nothing like the US one, and why would I watch this when I could just watch the US one? And while I understand that, again, I was one of the people saying that this shouldn't exist, I think that you should really give this show a shot. Sadly, because of the narrative and media around this show, as I said, people want this show to be a failure. I don't think it's going to be very successful, which is disappointing because I am so pleasantly surprised by this show, and I would happily watch another few seasons of it. Like, I cannot express enough how delightful it is to see Felicity Ward in her absolute element in this.
You know what? We can come back.
No, you're right, I can talk.
And maybe that's the thing, that like The Office has a simplicity that is just so accessible, which is why it has been so widely remade across so many different cultures and often worked. The other issue I have with a lot of the commentary around the show is people describing it as woke. I think people have this idea that having a woman in the lead role or gender swapping the Dwight character as well is just woke, without really understanding what woke means. Just having characters that are women or characters that are like LGBTQ or anything like that doesn't mean the show is woke. That's actually just diversity, which to me is a really good thing. I think now people label pretty much anything that is like different as woke. I think it's a really misinformed and silly way to view this show, which I would argue is not woke at all. But also in focusing in on the US Office and characters like Michael Scott, who often says very inappropriate things, whether they be racist or sexist or anything like that.
Well, it is hard to tell the difference between you guys saying stop because I want you to stop, or stop as in stop, you're making me laugh so hard. What you're doing is so funny. You are on a roll. I am busting a gut. Stop.
The actual joke here is not that he is saying these offensive things. It is the fact that you are watching someone say something that you cannot imagine someone saying in real life. It is the absurdity that a person in this seemingly realistic place is saying these absolutely daft things. So I think for me, the accusation that The Office Australia is woke is just ridiculous, misinformed, and kind of just wrong in every sense of the word.
What are you gonna do?
Again, I've been so happy to be proven wrong on this. I guess going into it, yeah, I wanted to hate it. And I wonder why I felt that way when what's been produced is genuinely a very funny show that I would re-watch. I'm stoked with the outcome, and I'll put my hand up and apologize for my negative thoughts leading up to this show. And I strongly encourage you to put aside your bias and put aside your prevailing loyalty to the US Office and give this show a shot if you're in Australia. Whew, thanks so much for watching, guys. I am looking forward to the incoming down votes that I am sure will come, and the accusations of me being woke and losing my mind. But let me know if you did watch it, what are your thoughts on The Office Australia? I'm hoping you watched more than episode 1 and the trailer. Again, I was one of the people that thought it was going to be terrible, but here I am making this video saying that I really like it. If you want more videos like this, hit that subscribe button. I'm doing multiple videos a week, all pop culture based topics, so I would love to get you on board. I am getting ever so close to 10,000 subscribers, which is my ultimate dream goal, so I'd love for you to jump on board and check out some of my other videos. That is pretty much it from me. I'm all over the internet doing dumb stuff that I think is cool, and all my links are down in the description. Thank you so much for watching. My name's been Radio Mike. This has been The Inside of My Mind, and I'll catch you later.